many people believe that the mind can directly affect matter? And not just affect matter, but control it. Once you've realized you can or cannot do something, what is the next step? The next step is you making the decision if you will or will not do it. There is a universal lust to be more than what we are. There is a common growing desire to be superhuman. Now, I don't think it's wise to dismiss everything that is considered a paranormal phenomenon as fakery. I don't think it's wise to believe everything you see or hear on TV, or any media platform for that matter. I also don't believe it's wise to trust everything written in books. I want to talk about psychokinesis, but more than that, I want to talk about what is happening to more and more people every day. So as we go through what this all amounts to, I encourage you to really consider why having certain abilities just doesn't come natural for most humans. Some people say that everyone is born with the same supernatural abilities that have to be developed over time. And there are people that say, well, some people have it and some people don't. I don't think the main concern of most people is if something like this is real or not, but what happens when you are seduced by it. Now folks, I just uploaded a video on transhumanism, and this is part of it. But let's go slow. What is psychokinesis? In fact, why are there all these subcategories of abilities? Pyrokinesis, the ability to create and control fire. Aerokinesis, the ability to control air molecules. Atomokinesis, the ability to change the atmosphere and manipulate the weather. Hydrokinesis, the ability to manipulate water in and outside of your body. Umbrakinesis, the ability to manipulate shadows and control darkness. Now, why has the concept of something simple like mind over matter been broken down into these categories? And there's more. Now, isn't something existing or not existing just based on belief if you are not a witness to it? How many things have we not seen in real life, but in images maybe, that we believe are real? You know, the word paranormal is nothing more than something that is beyond scientific explanation. That's it. When they say there is no scientific evidence to support psychokinesis, this means that this is something that mainstream scientists cannot just experiment with in a lab, break down the inner workings of the phenomena, and teach it to someone else. All they can do is study a subject who can verifiably do it, if they are not a fraud like many of them have been in the past. Most of the time, they will not even touch the subject due to looking like a quack in the eyes of their peers. When one says there is no scientific evidence to support something like psychic phenomenon, what does that mean? You mean there's no scientific evidence to support the placebo effect? There's no scientific evidence to support hypnosis? What about the rice experiment? Water experiment? What about quantum physics? Why would the government spend money to use remote viewers if it was not real? Why does law enforcement still use psychics? We still have yet to understand the full functionality of the human brain. We do not know everything that it is capable of. For example, think about the human spirit. That's mind power, fueled by the energy of our emotions. How does someone use their heightened emotional state to summon up superhuman strength voluntarily as perhaps a powerlifting competitor, or involuntarily as a frightened loved one? Is it adrenaline? And even though many scientists agree that adrenaline is possibly the answer, it's hard to test someone in the heat of the moment. And if that were the case, wouldn't a substance such as caffeine affect your strength? No? What's the missing ingredient? Speaking of the involuntary summoning of energy, how many of you have heard of sliders? In a nutshell, these are people who can involuntarily affect the surrounding electrical energy. Lights flicker or go on and off. Portable devices tend to malfunction. Display screens tend to be affected. Now, who is to say what you as a human can and cannot do? What are the true limitations of the human mind? Are these limitations put on us by God? Are they put on us by nature? Or are they the limitations of the mind placed upon us by man? Psychokinesis, among other psychic abilities, has been practiced for thousands of years. From Egypt to India to Asia, it seems the ancients had a very real obsession with people floating in the air, supernatural powers. Tell me, has any of that changed today? The number of books and videos available to us to learn more about psychokinesis is countless. I've seen dozens and dozens of psi-wheel videos, people moving pencils, straws, cups, soda cans, water bottles, nails, rocks, buttons, paper, foil, CDs. I've seen videos where people are moving doors, chairs, tables, cars. The psi-wheel. I can't tell you how many people have probably tried this. I'm one of them. Oh, look, it spins. That's so cool. Some of you are probably going to try it right now. I've experimented with many of these things, and I can tell you that there are many energies and forces surrounding us, coming off of us. You have thermal energy, magnetic energy, you have temperature changes, you have static, electrical energy. And what I came to realize is that the mind may have an effect on the object I am trying to move, but it's very subtle, very small. As for making videos demonstrating psychokinesis, it's like seeing the same magic trick over and over again. Even if it's real, there's so many people doing it, it's not impressive. But I know people do it for entertainment value. Some people work as magicians, and that's their thing. Anybody trying to sell the idea that what they are doing in front of the camera is 100% real, forget about it. People can edit videos at home better than they can in big budget Hollywood movies these days. But see, this is one of the issues. Scientists have no problem with psychokinesis. They want it to be real. That's why it's always been something lingering around the scientific community. But you can't understand how they would approach this after coming across fake after fake after fake. Using the same objects over and over, mainly pushing and pulling things, very few people are actually demonstrating levitation. When it comes to people teaching psychokinesis, I'm sure if someone truly possessed these abilities, they would be very reluctant to teach anyone, or even demonstrate their abilities to the public for that matter. But apparently people are spending time and money to take training courses for this online. Buyer beware. Now let's take a real serious look at this, folks. First, what would be the purpose or intent of someone practicing psychokinesis? Money, entertainment, health, spirituality? You know, meditation is not about emptying your mind. It is really about focusing your mind. Trying to move an object with your mind will definitely put you into this state, as all your attention tends to be directed toward the object. Nothing could happen at all, but you'll definitely get a brain workout. Focusing the mind practices, however you choose to meditate, is on you. But I must warn you, practicing something like psychokinesis is not for everyone, and I'll tell you why in a moment. How many of you practice or have practiced yoga? How much do you really know about it? What if I told you that yoga is actually a religion, and that the poses in yoga are intended to be symbols of worship to several gods? They literally took the concepts of ritual sacrifice and internalized it to create a self-improvement course, which we know as Western yoga, or another common term is Hatha yoga. Honestly, do these women look like they are exercising their bodies or worshiping something? Now, the reason I bring this up is because many of these ancient meditative practices that have been modified for modern times often in the past involved some sort of ritual. That's why a lot of things that are done in these classes seem to be somewhat ritualistic. And this is done as a form of seduction to get you used to and open to the ideal of spiritualism and open yourself up to the idea of connecting with spirits. You know, many religious folk will often say, "Don't mess with that stuff, the demons will get you." And I want to clear this up. An evil spirit cannot just jump into someone's body just because they are meditating. A person actually has to be prepped in order to be possessed. That is done by scaring and breaking down the person until they get to a point where they just give up and submit to possession. It takes months, sometimes years for that to happen. But here's the problem with something like practicing psychokinesis. It is not that moving objects with your mind is bad. It is that when you are practicing such things, these evil spirits around us take notice. You are now drawing attention to yourself, which is why many of those people who get deeply involved with such things tend to complain later on about spirit harassment. So when you consider practicing psychokinesis or anything of that nature, you have to ask yourself, how is this going to benefit my life? Is it worth what I may have to endure in the long run? The seduction comes in when a person gets so desperate with succeeding at psychokinesis that they then start asking for help from these spirits. But demons are not the greatest threat to mankind. The ungoverned mind of man is. Think about how powerful our minds truly are. For example, a person could kill someone without touching them. Think about heartbreak. People have killed themselves over the pain of heartbreak, something that is totally in the mind of the person feeling it. This is the kind of mind power we have over each other. So if this is something that you're into and you think you're going to walk around like a Jedi Knight, throwing heavy, large objects around with speed and accuracy, forget about it. The most you'll get out of it is the ability to focus better. I could see how being able to move around tiny objects could help you out at the casino, but the amount of time it takes to develop such an ability would probably cause you to abandon the practice before you see any results. It's okay to get excited about these things, folks, but I encourage you to know and understand how something works before you engage in it. If it doesn't feel right, or if you are unsure if you should be doing it or not, it is better to play it safe by just not doing it. Leave it for the psychics and magicians. I've got an idea. Instead of trying to be mentally powerful beings, how about we try to be mentally healthy beings first?